So my pleasure. It's a pleasure for me to say a couple of words about the way we look in ECHA, our outlook on the implementation of the application process going forward. Essentially, first of all, maybe just kind of almost like a policy statement from us, what we actually want in ECHA, and then a bit of what's ahead of us, what we're actually doing to improve our possibilities of dealing with authorization applications, a couple of new services that we're talking about, a couple of words about to complement also what Anna was saying about the special cases, and then a couple of take-home messages. Okay, the overall aim is, I think it's good to say this very out and very loud and clear. We want to have very well focused, business-friendly application process. Focused because it reduces cost, focused because it makes the committee's work efficiently and business-friendly in terms of actually we wanting things to be run in a fit-for-purpose way. Substitution should take place when it is warranted, but the application effort should be fit for purpose. And the preparation cost should be as low as possible. There will be cost. It's always going to be there, but it should be as low as possible. There should be appropriate scrutiny of the applications, and this is the balancing act in a sense, how much information there is or isn't. We discussed that yesterday already, and very good, I think, discussion with the committee's needs at the same time. So that the appropriate scrutiny comes from, first of all, obviously good applications or fit-for-purpose applications, but also having a high competence in the ECHA, including its committees to run and scrutinize the applications. ECHA now meaning the committees and the Secretariat. And then another one which is important also to realize that this all is serving only one purpose at the end of the day, which is to come up with clear opinions so that the Commission, together with Member States, can actually decide on these applications without delay. Finally, our overall aim is to have a trust of all, and it's the balancing act between open process, having a transparent process, an efficient process, with an overall scrutiny of stakeholders, but also at the same time keeping a business secret if it is a secret. And that's something we've invested quite a lot on, sometimes not to the dissatisfaction of everybody, because keeping things secret is important, and at the same time you cannot be transparent about those. So I think we've been learning from that. Now, the estimated number of applications this year and next year, based on our latest estimates, essentially based on discussions with industry over there. So in May, we are expecting to get quite many applications. If this is what materializes, we can handle it. This is our best estimate, our guess at the moment. If it becomes much more than this, we will have difficulties. With the capacity of the committees and the capacity of the Secretariat is going to be stretched maybe too much. This is kind of volume that we probably can handle. What are we doing at the moment? We have been dealing with ballpark 30 applications a year, so getting to 70 is a lot. So we have to have more staff to be able to help. So what we have at the moment ongoing is an internal training of staff, which we call the second line of defense, in a sense. When the first line of defense is fully occupied, we take the second line of defense out to help out, and we do on-the-job training already. Some of the people actually are here watching what we're talking about, so they get sort of first glances of training at the same time. We're also training RAC and SEAC members on specific issues, which we go through each and every time we have RAC and SEAC meeting on specific points, go through them, so we can learn by doing, in a sense. We also do more formal training for our own staff on teamwork, project management, and socioeconomic analysis. And some of it, again we pass on to SEAC and RAC members as necessary. The other ways that we work improving our capacity is actually working closely with the applicants to plan the incoming applications. And it's essentially planning this. So we understand what's coming, so we can prepare the committees, together with the chairs in particular, to handle the applications then when they're coming in. And that good planning is, I think, in the interest of everybody, both the applicants, ECHA, its committees, the Commission, and the stakeholders. We also plan for public consultation accordingly. What we'll continue doing is those things that we seem to get positive feedback on and continue doing that. So, for instance, the application formats that we've used, we've changed twice already, and we continue adapting those if necessary. And the aim is to essentially have them completely without any confidential business information. But obviously, there needs to be the possibility of providing that at the same time. But the question is it necessary for the application? That's the key question. And we're learning on that, I think, all of us at the moment. Then having an efficient and caring process, giving the opportunity to contribute for the applicants and for the stakeholders. So running the PSIS, the trialogues, the seminars, the workshops, and so-called partner service, we'll be continuing doing those, develop them further if needed. The reference dose response functions and DNLs will be made public as early as possible, and we're working on them at the moment. I mean, Markus Berges is at the moment running that part in our secretariat, and RAC of course will be discussing those for instance in March. Now, just a small note on actually the earlier presentation that we are under REACH regulation. We will never be able to come up with something called an acceptable risk. We've come up with DNLs and we come with dose response, but acceptable risk doesn't exist in the REACH vocabulary. Then I think we need to address some specific issues related to PBTs and VPVBs, which I think Elke was mentioning already. Then what we're doing also, which we have published on our website but we haven't summarized, is to establish reference values for certain health outcomes. These are called willingness to pay values in the economics jargon, so that it helps in providing applications for authorization when they have those endpoints covered, or if we make it restriction proposals, for instance, that could also be there. This should help the committees and the applicants as well. Then we'd like to improve the user-friendliness and efficiency of our services. One area which is of constant sort of area of improvement is, of course, the information and user interface in our websites. So we try to upgrade them, and for instance, Sanna Henriksson in our team is looking at that at the moment. So if any tips or any suggestions, Sanna, if you raise your hand over there, please tell her, okay? Then the task force that what we're doing, the task force that Anna mentioned. So we're developing, for instance, the formats for the applications for the so-called special cases, and also establish how RAC and SEAC would evaluate those special cases. It's not only the information requirement, but it has to be a corresponding way of evaluating those at the same time. And I'm pretty sure we'll actually go even to the decision-making stage of the Commission to have, again, consistency between those. Then we're getting feedback from the applicants and stakeholders, including the Commission. We have stakeholder surveys. We actually, just that you know, we always ask the applicant when they have applied for feedback. And we have a fairly good response rate. I think it's over 80% at the moment. And it's important we keep it up that way. Some of the results you've seen, but we keep that information to ourselves for confidentiality reasons. But we act on that then as well and improve our services based on that. We had, I think, mentioned yesterday the Euclid portal for the application for authorization, the simplified way of doing it. If it works well, we don't modify, but if there's any need for some technical improvements, please tell us again, and we'll be happy to help out. A couple of new services. We make a trial on the 25th of February. Essentially, if you know Woody Allen's film, What You Were Afraid to Ask of Sex, now it's your time. This is a different one. This for SMEs, what you would like to ask for, applications for authorization, and is this webcast still? And then they can apply. So we'll have people on the phone talking the national language of the country, and respond to questions on applications for authorizations for SMEs. Biggies, no, don't worry, just SMEs. Okay. If this works out, we might continue with something like this, and if it's not asked for, so we don't. But you can spread the word that this is actually on the 25th. It's published just on our website. The other thing that we have to be looking at is the notifications of authorized uses, the so-called obligations under Article 66. We try to make that operational by mid-2015, and that's something which links back to the decision-making process as well. And that could be quite important, in particular for the Chromates applications. What we also want to do is to have improved reporting of our statistics on applications on our website. We produce those on a continuous basis, but I think we need to improve that user interface as well, so people get a better understanding of what's going on, and that's what we're working on. We are prepared to handle the so-called special cases. I think the formats, as far as the low tonnage are concerned, are ready. Obviously, we'll see what the public consultation will tell us, but as far as we're concerned, I think we are there. And we're a little bit of maybe cocky almost, but I think we're pretty confident we can do this also for the other cases as well without a big hassle. We have a good task force at the moment together with the Commission and Member States and RAC and SEAC, and I think the energy is there to produce this quickly. So that's not necessarily a stumbling block, as long as there's a will to do that. And we, of course, therefore work actively with the Commission and Task Force on the application for authorization. Then what we also want to do is to improve continuously the opinion-making process and its documentation. That's the feedback that we do a lot with the committees. And already Tim and Thomas, they explained round about how it works, and we have a good record already over there. The formats we changed twice, the application formats, and we're just about to modify the opinion formats so that they're not radical changes, but they should improve clarity, and particularly for the Commission also for decision making, improve it further. One thing that is coming up, and this may be important for everybody to take note of, is that when looking at the conditions and monitoring arrangements, we earlier thought, I think all of us collectively, that would be on the authorized use, okay? But one way to think about this, and this is something that is coming out now, as I think Tim explained, that you can also think about it as conditions for monitoring something and reporting it if you make a review report. Because the information requirements, this is new to everybody, including the applicants, and they might not actually have had the time or knowledge or whatever to get some information that RAC requires, for instance. So better say so and say next time when you apply, this is what you need to have in the bag. You've got now X number of years to do that, and actually that's a reasonable request. Therefore, the scrutiny is more appropriate next time because you have better information base. And also stakeholder participation in all the process, which we are fine-tuning as well in that. So overall, I hope that you agree that we care. We care about the applicants themselves, that they have actually a system that works. We care about the public, the citizens at large in the public consultation. Care about the committees to be able to do their work correctly, and obviously the Commission, the Member States, to be able to decide on these things in a fairly straightforward manner. We want to use the authorization process to substitute the use of chemicals of concern at the lowest possible cost. It should be the system should be business friendly and focused on the key issues, which are essentially only two things. What is the remaining risk if the authorization is granted, and what are the benefits of the authorization? That's the key question in a sense that needs to be. If it's not there, then I think we haven't done our work. If it is there, we've got at least the gist of the thing. Applicants have to have made, and committees have evaluated already so far over 50 opinions on different uses. And here, one thought that I want to mention already is come up several times and during the past 2 years, that we should come up with examples of good cases. I don't think it's a good idea, because we have already over 50 opinions or 50 cases. Why should we come up with examples? Just read them. What we could do, and this is like an open question, would that be helpful? That's to everybody. That we could actually have, for instance, a label on each and every report, say CSR, AOA, and SCA, and we could put a label like in a scale of 0 to 10 or something. Is it clear? Yes, no. That's a fairly easy thing to do. The second one is it referenced correctly? Is the information basis there in terms of sources and so on? Are they opinions or are they actually referenced things? Okay. And the third one is and probably the most important one is then that is it actually evidence-based? I mean, do you have for instance, the monitoring data there? Do you have the evidence really there? And then if you hit the high score on each and every three, Well, probably you should read that report first and then something else. So we could maybe, if that's helpful, we could try to do something like that. But obviously, I'd like to get your feedback. That can be a lot of work, and who would actually do that work, we have to think about, but that's doable. I think we have a very well-functioning process, and we can deal with between 50 and 100 opinions in 2015, 2016. So that's doable. But we want to improve it. In general, to simplify it and make it even more fit for purpose, we've got a couple of ideas over here. And obviously, to make the special cases requirements work. That's something that we're happy to do. My own hunch is, but I would like to get any view of the audience as well, that we will not get very many low-volume applications. That even if we do it, it's good to do it, I'm not saying that, but it's not going to be used that much. And therefore, it would not reduce the overall workload and have a major efficiency gain there. There might be some other special cases where this would be the case, but not in the low volumes. But I would be interested to hear any views from the audience. Finally, we want to do all this together with you, with the applicants, with NGOs, with industry associations, with member states, and in particular with the Commission, because this really has to work together. I mean, it's good opinion-making process, which is not linked with the decision-making process, is no good, and that's why we worked well together so far, and I will continue doing so. So, thank you very much for my part.